So as you guys kind of saw in her kind of intake video, she has no concept of kind of the leash pressure. We're going to go over a little bit of what we tend to do from the beginning. So one of the first things that I do is, so she's usually walked in a harness. The first thing that she's going to lose is that harness. The reason being that if you notice that when she gets any kind of pressure, she's just kind of pulling herself sideways. Excuse me. This also makes it extremely comfortable for her to pull. Now you can start some of the 180s on a harness, but I want you to watch her body, how she kind of responds to that pressure from the harness. So, sort of. Good, that's good, girl. Oh. Good. Good. So if you kind of notice, she walks more sideways. That's because that's kind of where that pressure is guiding her from. Good. But you can still kind of start to teach. Good girl. Good girl. But if she stays close, good job. There is no pressure from anything. So one of my goals to try to get with her at the end of this week is to get back to either walking on her regular collar or back to a slip lead or even back to her harness. We are going to start her on a slip lead and then from there possibly do a prong collar, and like I said, start working around some of that to help teach her how to still pay attention and listen. You can also use you can use their regular collars as well. So what I would typically do is I would, one, make sure it's tight enough they cannot slip out of it. And just like any kind of training collar, soda. Okay. You are gonna wanna make sure that ideally it stays up kind of high. The reason that we want their collars to stay up higher is it's going to avoid her actual throat, which is what's gonna cause her to do a lot of gagging. And so she won't be gagging a whole lot. Like I said, you want to make sure she can slip out of it. So if your dog can slip out of just a regular collar, no matter how tight you put it on their neck, that is definitely where martingale collars or slip lead comes in handy. Like I said, you want it to stay up high. And you would do the same thing that we did before. A little bit of those 180s. Good. But now, yeah, good job. Yeah. Now the difference is I'm controlling her face. Helping teach her. Good. Good job. A little bit about pressure. So the goal with this is to not necessarily pull her super hard. Good girl. But to give her pressure in the direction that I want her to go. Good. Good. Yeah, good job. To help teach her how to give into that pressure. And by giving into it, pressure goes away. You get praise. I could give her some treats at the same time so that she learns giving in. And there's a squirrel, which is what she's super interested in. But that giving into that pressure, good, good. Yes, good girl. Yes. Good job. Is exactly what I want her to do. So the next thing that I will do is introduce her to a slip lead. Like I said, typically flat collars, they really start to fall, they start to slide. Slip leads can still slide a little bit, but they are designed to kind of do the same thing. So what a slip lead is it is just a leash that kind of tightens as they pull. It has a stopper here that is going to stop it, good girl, from getting too loose that it's going to slide and end up choking, being way too low. Soda. Good girl. The reason that we start to use this is, like I said, all training collars are designed to go up high and tight. This is going to be a very soft version of what that pressure is going to feel like. So she is used to being walked on a harness. So different amounts of pressure. And if you can hear her gagging, that's because she's pulling on her collar that is now slid down too low. Soda. Yeah. Good job. So like I said, this is gonna go up like right behind her ears. You're gonna put it tight. So it goes tight enough that you can still get a couple fingers. Can you see my fingers? Underneath it, but it's not, yeah, super, super loose. You wanna take off some of your all year? Yeah. So what I do with this is very similar to how I started with her regular collar. I don't wanna give tons of pressure super hard because she's never had pressure like this. I don't wanna freak her out with it. I wanna slowly teach her what this pressure means. So again, we're gonna start with some gentle, yes, good job. Oh, no food. But just gentle pressure, yes. Up high so that she learns how to give into that pressure. Then we're going to start those 180s. Good. Good girl. Good job. Good girl. Good. Good girl. Good. Yeah, good job. So if you notice some of the difference of how she tends to turn, yeah, with the different pressure from a slip lead versus her harness versus her flat collar. She did very well with her flat collar until it slid and got too low. But this is what our sessions all day are going to look like. We're going to do very short sessions, much shorter than this one because it is super hot. But we're going to help teach her, yeah, what that pressure means and how to turn it off, tune into me, so that she can go on relaxing walks. Like I said, we're going to work her around other dogs, things like that, just to help teach her how to kind of be very neutral. Yeah? But that is kind of an intro of how we're going to get started. Like I said, I'll try to video some of our walking that we'll come out and do a little later, just so you can kind of continue to see how we start a lot of this. I know this is something that a lot of you do tend to struggle with in the beginning, but that is typically how we start everyone. You know, they get praised when they're doing the right thing, when they give into pressure, or if you notice when she's walking here, good girl, praise stops, good girl, so that she learns this is where I want her. The goal being that when we start to walk, her shoulders are going to line up with my legs. Okay? So ideally, this is where she's going to learn to walk. And we're going to start that bunch of 180s, bunch of praising, utilizing food because she is super food motivated, and just helping teach her what we want. But hopefully that makes sense. As always, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And I guess that is bye for now from me and Soda. Yeah, good girl.